Hi, students. My name is Kelly Sullivan, and I am here to help do a quick PowerPoint for you and give you some tips on how to be successful in nursing school. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Go. And then we will play. Okay, so welcome to nursing school. We're so glad you're here. This is just about 6 slides, just to give you some ideas about what other students in your shoes have been successful with in the past and how kind of to navigate this new world of nursing school for you. So here we go. First of all, and I'm going to go into detail about each of these points on a separate slide, but very importantly, you want to schedule everything. You want to have a calendar, whatever works for you, whether it's digital or on paper, and schedule everything. And I'll go into more details about what I mean about everything. Being organized is paramount here as and I'll give you some tips about how to be ready the night before, how to just sort of organize your lecture, your PowerPoint, your notes, your textbook, anything extra to sort of supplement whatever lesson you're on. Make friends here. It's a great place. It's a lot easier together than doing it by yourself. And lastly, give yourself grace. And I'll talk about all of these as we go on. So here we go. So very important. Now there are nursing calendars that are specifically marketed to nursing students. This is just an example that I found online of one, and then kind of a closer example about scheduling things. And what I recommend is that time management is a big deal here. And the thing that's different about nursing school as opposed to your prerequisites is it's not quite as objective. There's not a clear answer to everything. And you might feel like, oh, shoot, how do I prepare for this? Is there a chart for this? And I would first caution you to kind of look at this a different way than how you've studied for things before, where it's a very clear objective answer about, if they ask this and the answer is this, where there's a lot of, you're going to hear this word critical thinking involved in nursing school. And so you may never feel like you're prepared. And you know what, you're not going to be completely prepared ever. But the good news is that you can use your critical thinking skills to kind of problem solve through a scenario in real life or on a test question. So with that, what I recommend is that you schedule how you're going to study. And I would recommend that you do it in different ways, right? Whether you are a visual or an auditory learner, you might schedule a walk where you re-listen to a lecture in your headphones, or draw out things. And I'll kind of show you what's worked for students in the past about if you learn about a new disease process, say hypertension or whatever it is, draw out like a guy who has hypertension, and it's just for you, and what the sort of things that you might be looking for in a hospital setting, or if there's another comorbidity attached to that, whether it's diabetes or whatever else. It's going to seem overwhelming at first, but it's kind of finding your way, or multiple ways of kind of being able to problem solve these types of patients who have these different types of disease processes going on. I also recommend that you schedule exercise. And that's one of the biggest things that kind of gets away from students is not just so much, it's just mental well-being as well. They might say they gain weight, but the bigger deal on that is being able to sort of keep into healthy habits that have helped you in the past get through sort of challenging times. So I strongly recommend that you schedule whatever has been your sort of go-to in the past, whether it's walking your dog, or it's going to the gym, or it's playing soccer, or whatever it is. Put that on your calendar and then stay true to it, because it's really easy to go, no, I have to study, I have to sit at my computer. And that's not good for you. And so I tell you that. Colored pens or pencils are a nursing student's best friend, and you can color code stuff, and you can kind of recognize a nursing student by their pens. So I recommend, if you haven't already done that, get that and color code stuff based on when things are due, or however it helps you learn, whether if you're taking notes from either a virtual or a real lecture, being able to have your pens there handy, or even just one of those pens that kind of you can click and do the different colors. It just makes it easier to study later on. And then, just being organized at home too, and having a nice clutter-free workspace where you can have access to all of your nursing stuff in one place These are just sort of tips to help keep yourself organized in all of this stuff. Okay, next. All right, so this is beyond the organization that I was just speaking of regarding lectures and that sort of thing. It's when you get to your clinical sites too, and that's a big one. So you're going to be divided into your different clinical groups, and it's really important. There's never really a good reason to be late. So plan on being there early. I can't emphasize that enough. Saying, well, there was, when you're, you may be going out to OC Global or UCI or someplace that's far from your home. Saying, like I said, that there was bad traffic or an accident is not a legitimate excuse. So, or I forgot my badge, or I forgot something else. There's just never, that's not a good excuse. So I recommend that you plan on getting there early, and it's really great if you can find people to carpool with in your group. It helps with your mental health too, just to kind of talk about what you expect, what challenges that you've had together. There's no better real resource but your people who are going through the same thing as you. If that doesn't work out for you and you can't carpool, get there early. Give yourself a good half an hour to be there early, if not more. Just gives you a chance to sort of exhale, go for a walk before you go into your clinical group, or sit in your car and just kind of re-go over videos. Like if you know you might have a chance to set, to start an IV or whatever it is, just re-look at a video in the car and kind of get in your space and remind yourself of what you need to do. So always be early. I can't say that enough. Study space, I kind of went over on the other slide. Being organized at home, having things nice and clutter-free, it just helps with a clutter-free mind as well. Your uniform, this is just an example of past students in their uniforms. Have it ready the night before. Don't show up in a wrinkled, dirty uniform because you weren't able to adequately prepare. I'm not saying that you have to iron if that's something you like to do. You could, or just have it hanging so it doesn't look like it just came out of a bunch in a drawer. Clinical professors do notice that. Your nurse preceptor will notice that. Your colleagues will notice it. So just have a clean, wrinkle-free uniform when you come, and have it ready the night before. Also the night before, it just helps for lack of, chaos and worrying the day of your clinical, because it's going to be a long day. You're going to be getting up early, and you want to have things ready ahead of time. Showing up without really your badge would be really bad, because then you can't get into certain areas in the hospital. Have your bag have your badge in your bag ahead of time. Double check the night before that it's there so you can just grab it. Have your water ready. Anything that your clinical professor is requiring that you have, all your different, your stethoscope and your scissors and your pen light and all that kind of stuff. Really, really, please have that ready the night before, so there's no stress. Say, oh shoot, I forgot my stethoscope. That's not a good excuse if you don't have it. Oh, and anything that's due, if you have stuff due, a care plan or whatever it is for a semester, have it in a nice folder the night before. Double check, because you don't want to say, oh, I forgot my paperwork that's due. It's just not, that's not going to be looked on kindly. So the best way to mitigate that risk is have it done the night before. I can't tell you enough how much that will help you. This is a little clipboard. They'll likely tell you about this in N170. Nursing students, this fits right in your white nursing jacket. And this kind of keeps everything nice and neat, so you can easily take report or take notes. You just unflap it once you take it out of your pocket, and then you don't have stuff sort of crumbled in your pockets as well. So this is great. This is available on Amazon or various different websites. It's a good investment for all of nursing school. Okay, so now we've covered organization. Okay, this is equally as important, if not more. I really encourage you, even if you feel like you're not normally the person who makes and keeps friends in school, this nursing program is long, right? This is 4 semesters that are going to be different than anything you've ever done before. And these are your people. Really, you're not going to have anybody who really understands, like I was saying, with the carpooling, what you're going through, except for the people in your exact semester who are going through it with you. So have fun, take pictures early on at these skills boot camps. You can take pictures if the instructors say it's okay of your group, and then you can look back. And when we do the pinning ceremony, which is 4 short semesters away, you can look back and go, oh my gosh, remember when we first learned how to, don our PPE and we were in there together and we didn't know what we were doing. And, remember when we were at that hospital, take pictures of your clinical groups and your cute uniforms. There's going to be Sims, which you're going to learn a lot about, where you're learning different sorts of things. Take as many pictures as they can. And then when you first start, you start your first IV, maybe a bloody event, you get to do that on each other in the skills lab, and how you're nervous. And it's just awesome to have pictures. And these are your people. I can't emphasize enough to make and keep friends, and make groups and make group chats for each semester you're in. And it's awesome to have friends who've already graduated from the program or in different semesters, but really connect each semester with who's in that clinical group. And often that clinical group that you were very first in will be, hopefully will be a connection that you have throughout the program, but then also bond with the people who are at whatever site you're at now. Really can't emphasize that enough. And many of us say that we have those nursing friends still. Those are our go-to people. And even when you start working in wherever you're going to work with your nursing experience, those people who went through this very special time with you will hopefully remain near and dear to your heart. And many of us say that that's the case for us. So, okay, enough on that. The last slide I have here for you is, this is important. Inhale, exhale, give yourself grace. This is going to be different than anything you've ever been through. You're going to have things that happen in your life that were unexpected or expected. You may have a new child or a grandchild, or go through a marriage or a divorce, or God forbid, lose somebody close to you, or somebody close to you get sick. It's going to require you giving yourself permission to have grace, to ask your professor if you need a little bit of extra help. Give grace to your professors. Also, they're human beings as well. All this same kind of stuff can go through, they can be going through. Same with your colleagues. Just kind of, just be kind and understand that stuff happens and it's going to be okay, and lean on each other. So there you go. That was quick. I hope that helped. I hope that you'll have ideas to share with each other as well. And you always can reach out to me, and you have my contact information. All right. Thanks, students. And that's it.